making it to the front page of the major names. Heavily reported and discussed in the media. A situational analysis of commercial exploitation. Welcome to Simpson at 7. Sharks. Their name alone strikes fear into many people's hearts. Tonight, Simpson at 7 takes you to the world of shark tourism and shark feeding, a venture that is gaining worldwide fame as well as controversy. We also look at the situation of sharks in Fiji and whether our sharks are in danger of being decimated by the lucrative trade in shark fins. Going on a dive to see sharks was a journalism assignment we took on with great apprehension. But we did it, and I'm happy to present to you tonight the sharks of the Mbenga waters. Sharks are without doubt one of the most feared animals in the world. They rule the ocean and underwater life, and are deemed the biggest threat to humans when in the water. But the popular image of sharks as evil, man-eating animals has been challenged by many conservation and marine activists, who say that the ocean's most deadliest predator is a magnificent animal that has simply been misunderstood and stereotyped by popular culture.
In those early days, very little was known about sharks, and most people were terrified of sharks because there'd been quite a few people killed by sharks off our surfing beaches and all over the world, in fact. But I learned very quickly that there's only 3 or 4 species that are potentially dangerous, and the other ones are harmless.
In the waters of Mbenga outside Suva, some local divers are doing more than just breaking the stereotype about sharks. They are mixing with them in their own environment, communicating with them, and hand-feeding them.
So thank you very much for coming down and dive with us today, Terra Adventure Divers, and we are the shark people of Fiji. This is something that we built for this dive to be professional. Alright? So this is where we're going, Shark Reef Marine Reserve. It's a protected area. The $20 everyone contribute, the money goes to the village, maintain and make sure this side is clean. But before everyone gets in the water, we will throw a piece of fish. All these animals, they know that we are coming today. Today is Saturday. Our feeding day is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and today. Right now, they are waiting on the surface. They know Papa is coming with the food.
Shark feeding and shark tourism is a controversial issue, not just in Fiji but all over the world, and has divided many environmental groups and conservationists. Opponents say that shark feeders are interfering with nature and natural processes. They say that sharks are born to hunt, not to be fed, and that the feeding may see sharks associate humans with food. What happens when humans have no food to feed the sharks? Or the sharks are not fed on the days they're supposed to be fed? Will the sharks consider humans as food?
We are not teaching them to eat people, we're teaching them to eat tuna heads, right? So they're not learning anything which would endanger somebody. The people that come and say you don't feed the wildlife and you're changing their behavior and they will eat people, and when you stop feeding they will come and eat the people, okay? Intuitively that kind of makes sense. What you need to do in a case like that is collect data about what really happens. So we've been collecting data for 5 years now on about 2,500 dives, okay? The first thing I can tell you is it's not always the same sharks. The shark will turn up for 3 days, disappear for 2 months, while he is doing his sharky thing, right? The food they get here is tuna heads. They are not very nutritious. So these sharks are not depending on what we give them for nutrition. So if we stop, they will just continue doing what sharks do and go and hunt fish. The second thing is that these are sharks that eat fish. Okay? You can give a cow a steak every day of your life and it will not eat the steak because cows don't eat steaks. All right? And these sharks underwater don't eat humans. Their interest, you will see it, they are interested in the piece of fish only. Okay? But if you think about what I said before, is in very general terms, people who go into the sea have to be careful. There's sharks in the sea. Now, let me finish this. The places in Fiji where there have been shark attacks are Taveuni, where there is no shark dive. And there are quite a few shark attacks. The one I know about is Singatoka. There is no shark dive there. There have been no shark attacks here.
Mike Newman and his Benga adventure divers take a different view to shark feeding and shark tourism. They see it as the most effective and sustainable way to conserve and protect sharks, doing so by protecting the reef that they live in.
Number one reason we are doing this is to welcome all the sharks, because this is a protected area. So when they come and stay here, we think that we are protecting the population of all the sharks.
What you have to understand is the species protection doesn't work. It always has to be habitat protection. So here we're protecting a reef. And we're saying we're protecting the sharks that live on the reef, but the main thrust is to protect the reef. And that's where it has to go.
Mike Newman left a comfortable life as a banker in Switzerland to help protect sharks by running a shark tourism and shark feeding venture in Fiji. He started Benga Adventure Divers over 10 years ago, one of the 2 dive operations along with EcoTrack Fiji that feed sharks in the Benga waters.
Well, look, I mean, I done this because I like sharks, because it's the apex predator on the reef.
Have there been any shark attacks in this?
Not that I know of, not anything documented. Have people been lost at sea or disappeared during a dive? Maybe, you know. Does it mean a shark took them? Probably not. No, probably they got swept away in currents. That's 99% of the divers' deaths are not due to shark interference.
The Benga Shark Dive and Shark Reef have become world-renowned and is easily one of the most famous shark dives on the planet.
This is an exception here. You have a protected area, and this is something special. It's world famous now as a location where you can go every time and see sharks.
But it is not just the thrill and feel of being with sharks that makes the Benga Shark Dive unique. It is the remarkable economic and environmental benefits the dive has provided for the local community who own the fishing grounds.
This shop alone turns over $750,000 a year. For the community itself, what we have seen is that the fishermen are increasingly happy because we have a big fish saturation which is now too high, so the big fish now migrate to the other reefs, and on the other reefs in the Goli Goli, the fishermen are welcome to go and catch them. So I've had old fishermen tell me, look, it's a great thing that you are here, because 10 years ago I would go off the beach and catch no fish, and now I'm catching big fish here. So that's a big benefit. The second benefit is the jobs we provide. The third benefit is the money, which helps them educate their people, build village halls, do their community work.
So we go back to the village, and we get all those school leavers, they just left behind. So we bring them over in, we train them to be a dive master. We give them a free course from open water to dive master. And then this is what we do each year. So every year we try to bring 3 people, train them, give them job, and put them anywhere in Fiji. And then next year, and we're going back very soon, we get more people from these 2 villages.
Two villages, Naloa and Wainiambia, benefit directly from the shark dive operation, earning at least $35,000 each a year.
Morogina sona bulani koro kan diwa torda kitaki Bimbing ito ako biya oti sarang kinagon ito balin song. So nga nang ni taon den revale na bula. So kani dur ni buli kani solinya sana.
The village hall at Ngaloa stands as concrete evidence of projects that were fulfilled through income from the shark dive. And the shark dive has provided employment for many young people in the area, such as Losalini Donu Maivanua.
I come here for my training, captain, for my boatmaster's captain. So when I was doing the training here, and our manager and the guys here asked me if I could join them for diving, so I did join them.
What's your role there? You're a boat person or captain? What's your role over there?
I'm a boat captain and also a dive master.
Where did you get your dive master?
From this company too.
In many countries around the world, sharks have been overfished, hunted for their fins, to the point that some shark species in some areas of the world are deemed close to extinction.
Sharks all around the world are in big trouble. Millions are being caught just for shark fin soup, and it's a real disaster. There are many places that we can go to in the South Pacific, and nearly all the sharks are gone.
The shark finning trade is considered the biggest single global threat to the survival of sharks. Shark fins are a popular commodity, considered a luxury food in Asia, and the demand for shark fins is huge.
About how many kinds do you export? Brown shark, what other
Brown
sharks?
shark, blue, mako.
Mako. 270 a kg.
Yeah, some 160.
160?
160, this one, you have to check the quality. You know, some
Oh.
bone carton.
How big is the market in Fiji to export?
The market,
Mm-mm.
sometimes to Taiwan, sometimes to Australia.
Oh, okay.
It is estimated that millions of sharks are killed each year for their fins alone, in very cruel circumstances. The sharks are usually thrown back into the sea once their fins are cut, to die a slow and agonizing death. Most Asian restaurants Simpson and 7 visited in Suva have shark fin soup on the menu, and it is one of the most expensive soup you can pay for in the country.
Where do you buy it from?
This one from the here.
Restaurant owners say they get their shark fins from local fishermen and middlemen.
Government supply this shark fin.
The trade is considered small, but luxurious.
This one different. Some like the good one maybe 500, 400 for the kids.
Alright, that's
Yeah,
expensive.
depends. No different. Like the back and different if the price is different.
But Newman does not see shark finning as a present threat to Fiji's
This
shark
will surprise you,
population.
but the biggest threat is habitat degradation. It is not us hunting the sharks in Fiji. All right, in Fiji we are talking mainly about coastal reef sharks. So as the reefs disappear, those animals lose the place where they live. So that's the main threat. There is a threat, especially to more oceanic species like silky sharks, oceanic whitetips, of fishermen targeting them for the fins. I would say that's a minor threat in Fiji. It's a major threat in other places in the world.
The Mbenga adventure divers all agree that along with habitat protection, legislation is required to protect sharks in Fiji.
I mean, you can't do anything. I mean, finning sharks right now is perfectly legal. Sharks are just one fish which has no protection whatsoever, so the first step is legislation. Once you have legislation, you need enforcement.
What should the legislation say?
Don't kill. If I had it my way, no killing of sharks, no trading in shark products, no landing of shark products. I mean, total legislation. And when it comes to the enforcement side, every single one of our staff are fish warden. So these are park rangers appointed by government. So, more dive shops should go to government, which are happy to train their staff as fish wardens in order to protect their reefs, not only for the sharks, for the fish. All right? But first step is you need legislation. No legislation is nothing anybody can do.
Simpson and Seven went on the manga shark dive to experience for themselves what tourists who go to this famous dive experience. It was a journalism assignment we took on with great apprehension.
Same thing, everyone puts on the gear, straight in the water, stay on the surface, just like we did on the first dive. Right, once we say go down, then start descending. Maximum depth on the second dive, about 15 or 16 meter. Directly beneath the boat, right? 15 to 16 meter, about 2 meters deeper than you'll have a aluminium cage. We've already put the fish heads in there to feed the big bull sharks, right? So the blood is going, they know we're coming back. Right, you'll have the feeder as a bird's eye view, right? So you are looking down, right? Then we're going to start baiting, right? When we start baiting, you'll see the bull sharks all rush up towards the bin and the feeder. Okay, now these sharks, we've trained them for the last 10 years that they always come from left to right. English. Right? So all of you are actually up here, right? The feeder will take the fish head, put it down, pull the shark up, open its mouth, take the piece of food, a little bit of your hand, and then it swims away. Okay? So they're gonna come up close and personal. Right? Every now and then, you may see one of the staff swim above and in front of you and dump fish heads. Right? So if you see someone swimming up, look at them. When they dump fish heads, what that does is brings the fish away from the feeder. Right? And all the noise they make, the trevally make eating, you must have heard from the first dive. Right? You'll see all the bull sharks rush up and fight for the food in front. Okay? Maximum time we'll spend here, 35 minutes. Right? And again, you hear the signal. Ding, 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 ding. Right? Everyone comes back up, straight, do your safety stop on the rope. Right? After the safety stop, very well done on the first dive, one by one to the ladder. Okay? Right, however, if we are very lucky today and the tiger shark comes, right, the signal will be a rapid beating of the tank. Right, so look around, all the stuff will point out to where the tiger is coming from, right? I assure you, you will know it's a tiger when the tiger's there, okay? Right, what we haven't been able to do is teach the tiger shark to come in from left to right, right? It'll come in from left or right, bottom, up, top, it'll come from all over the place, right? If the tiger is swimming straight at you, it has the right of way, right? move a little bit away from this path, right? Now, what the tiger does, it'll feed, and then every now and then it'll do a big loop into the deep, right? So if time is up, 35 minutes, and the tiger is still feeding, please stay on the wall, right? 45 minutes, the tiger is still eating, stay on the wall, right? Until it does the big loop, right? We'll bang out tank, then everyone straight from there and do the safety stop. Okay? So, maximum depth 15 to 16 meter, maximum time 35 minutes. Any question?
This is an experience of a lifetime. I'm going to see the manga sharks, Fiji's famous shark dive.
Going down Shark Reef to see sharks being fed is quite an experience. You are going into the blue, stepping into an environment and a world where you are an intruding foreigner. see big fish and marine life in their variety and colors. It is an overwhelming feeling to have big fish and sharks swim close by. The action down here is world class and a tribute to the professionalism of our divers, as well as the beauty of Fiji's underwater marine life. The shark feeding is amazing to watch. Sharks in their various species are down here. The big bulls, lemon sharks, nurse sharks, reef sharks, and occasionally, although we did not see one that day, tiger sharks. Simpson X7 was given this amazing never-before-seen footage of Mbanga adventure diver Rusia Tembalenangasau feeding a 4.5-meter tiger shark, mouth to mouth. Rusi has known the shark, known as Scarface, for the last 7 years. And what you're about to see is not recommended, even for professionals. But it was a one-in-a-lifetime experience, captured on camera twice. After learning to live in fear of sharks all our life, the Mbanga Shark Dive provides a unique opportunity right on our doorstep to understand them better and appreciate them as the magnificent animal that they are. Sharks are an important part of the marine world. They may be deadly, but they provide a balance.